You want to do it?
Sure. Hi, welcome back to Bourbon Theory. I'm Bill,
I'm Josh.
and we are, as
Yep.
you might be able to see behind us, at Woodford Reserve here in Versailles, Kentucky.
We're going to do the spectacle of the senses tasting.
Oh,
So very hoity-toity, pinkies up.
probably
Hopefully,
not going to happen.
hopefully they'll let us film the tasting, and if not,
Yeah,
we'll just come outside and tell you what we thought.
that's right. Beautiful here, though. It's
Very
October day.
great day.
Been through all the horse farms along the back roads and seeing some horses.
Yeah,
And
lots
a
of
lot of
horses.
fences. Lots of fences. So,
there. You've got the five whiskeys. We're going to work from
So
left
there's
to
some
right
good
here in just a minute. Directly in front of each glass tells you which type of whiskey it is. Bourbon whiskey, rye, malt, wheat, and some, the mash bill for each, also some tasting notes. And then directly in front of that board is that particular food we're going to pair with that whiskey. And again, these food bites were chosen by our master distiller. Some of these are chosen because they highlight flavors already present in that whiskey, and some of them will actually contrast. So we normally smell, then we sip, then we take the food, eat it, and then sip again. And everybody's different. This is really just an individual experience. We all taste and smell things different. So feel free to tell me if you're getting certain flavors or smelling certain things. Don't be shy. And you can talk amongst yourselves, discuss it. But, you may taste something completely different than the person sitting next to you. Now, if you wonder why the bites are small, that is intentional. You can do this at home. On the Woodford Reserve website, there is a tab that says conduct a tasting, and it walks you through doing this with different foods, have friends over. But you want to keep the bites small because you don't want to overwhelm your palate with a huge bite of food, because when you take that last sip of the whiskey, you want that to be able to shine through and complement or contrast. So these are all the same proof that we're tasting today. 90.4 is what Woodford bottles at. And everything on average is 7 years in new American white oak barrels. And I'll talk about those in just a minute. So let's go ahead and start. And we're going to start with our two bourbons. Now I'll tell you about our barrels in between the first and second bourbon, because it's really just a barrel change. So go ahead and pick the one up on your left. And I know most of you have had this. Now, what I want you to do is pick that glass up and nose it first. That's just your fancy term for smell. Now, the best way to get the most good aromas off the bourbon is to leave your mouth slightly open as you're smelling it. And also, I have to tell you now, you don't want your nose in the actual whiskey. I had a lady snort it the other day. You don't want to do that, bless your heart. But when you open your mouth, your nose is going to smell more than just alcohol or ethanol that you get with your mouth closed. Now, my nose always smells banana. Y'all might not smell that at all. I smell ripe banana when I smell this bourbon.
I get the sweet,
Yeah.
Anybody get
bit
vanilla?
of honey.
Caramel?
Yeah.
You might smell some wood.
And of course,
I mean,
vanilla
it's been
caramel.
sitting in a barrel
Yeah.
for a long time. Some smoke. I think every
There's
bourbon
a
you smell, you smell
very
vanilla.
You should get a
Comes
shot
from
of
your
the
wood
wall up
barrel.
there.
Caramel notes, maybe a little spice. Smells pretty good. If you just smell bourbon, that's okay. You're right. Now, as far as sipping, we're going to do 3 sips out of this first one. We'll do 2 out of everything else. The reason we do an extra one on the first is because you need to acclimate your palate to the 90 proof. So never judge your first sip of any high proof spirit, because really when you put that high proof on your tongue, your brain just thinks you're making a bad decision. So it cuts off your flavor picker upper, so you really just get the warmth. So take a small sip and maybe hold it on your tongue for a second, roll it around, let it coat most of your palate, and then swallow. This will be the harshest that we take. And you're mostly just getting what on the first sip? Burn? How about warmth, right? And what do they call that
Sweet
warmth on your
spice.
first sip? Kentucky hug. That's right. Now that hug is that spicy. That hug is from the proof, but it's also from how much rye we use in this mash
Pretty
bill.
sweet.
There's the recipe for Woodford bourbon right there. 72% corn, 18% rye, and that is high compared to a lot of bourbons. So by adding a little more spice or that grain to our mash bill, we're crafting that
barley's coming through
warm finish that Woodford's known for. 10% is malted barley, and if you're wondering how they come up with that, that goes by weight. So about 17,000 pounds of grain are added to our mash cooker to finish up with 7,500 gallons of mash, of which you will get about 15 barrels. So 72% of that 17,000 pounds is corn, 18% is rye, if that makes sense. All right, go ahead and take a second sip. You don't have to hold them anymore. This one should just be smoother and a little softer, a little more flavorful. The second sip is always better than that first one. And it just gets better as we go. Your palate learns to acclimate to the proof so that more flavor comes through. And I smell banana, but I don't taste it. But again, you know, we're all different. All right.
It's a yeast.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do
Definitely
our first
nutmeg.
food pairing. You've got a little Parmesan crisp there. Now you can also do this at home with just a piece of aged Parmesan cheese or cheddar, aged cheddar. But that's salty and it's fatty, so go ahead and take a bite of that cheese crisp. I can eat a whole bag of those, they're so good. You can get these at Walmart in the crouton aisle, I make. But that's going to coat your palate, the saltiness, the fattiness of the cheese. Once you swallow that bite, then finish your last sip of the bourbon and see how it changes. I think this is a really good pairing. I love this one. Now it should change up the finish, right? The finish should be smoother, less spicy. But again, everybody's different. I get a little more creamy notes of the bourbon, maybe a little more nutty flavors coming through.
Mine came
with
out
the
smooth.
cheese. But definitely good. And you know, food pairings also help people that don't like whiskey at all. It can help you see how you can enjoy it with food. Just like wine and food pair well, so does whiskey and food. Anybody like it better with the cheese? Yeah. Okay. Anybody like it better before? Okay. I usually get a mix of both. I like it both ways. It's good both ways. All right. Anybody get 215 flavors out of that?
Maybe 5.
All right, so 214, that's pretty good. I get about 10, and that's all I do today. I don't get 214 till I drink the whole bottle. Then I'm like, I'm seeing. Yeah, I'm seeing. That's right. All right, so next, go ahead and get some water. Bottles of water there to cleanse your palate. I pulled that right out of the creek for y'all this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. No, we want to cleanse our palate between the food bites. So next we're going to try, as I said, my favorite, double oaked. Now double oaked starts as the bourbon we just had. It's the same exact bourbon. Why do we call it double oaked?
Lots of vanilla.
Yeah, and the oak, of course, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is better
So
it smells better than the store pick we
Now I
had.
get butterscotch.
A little bit longer. So double oak starts as the one we just tried.
Yeah, there is a little bit of
Now
a
Woodford Reserve, we do build our own barrels.
butterscotch in
Our
here.
parent company company,
The
Brown
creamy
Foreman in
smell.
Louisville.
I'll have to look
has
up
always
marzipan
owned
to
their
see
own
exactly what
Woodford
that
barrel
is, but
factory. We only use barrels one time, and then we send them out all
by
over the
law.
world for lots of other uses. So you can, it has to be to be a straight whiskey, it has to be a new charred barrel every time
These
it
might be
goes to a
butterscotch
barrel.
chips
Even
right
if you
here.
did 15 of
So
them,
you might be.
they
Or
all
peanut
have to
butter
be
one
new
that's
to
in,
be
but probably
straight.
butterscotch.
Once it goes to a used barrel, it's not straight anymore. Okay? So we start with new American white oak barrels. Woodford was the first to toast
Yeah.
a
On the thin
barrel.
side.
Lots of distilleries are toasting their barrels now, and that's something that wineries do. All you're doing is warming up that wood on the inside before you char it with radiant heat. And when you do that, we only do 10 minutes of toasting. It's called a light toast. As you warm up the wood, a lot of the natural sugars in the wood are drawn to the inside as you warm it up. You want to do that because in the hot summers, that's when you're picking up all your flavor and color. Your whiskey actually soaks into the barrel. You can see that line going across. That's called the spirit line or the soak line. So through temperature change with hot and cold, your whiskey moves in and out of that barrel, mellowing it out, getting more flavor and color. So we want those sugars as close to the inside as we can get them. So
That's
toasting
a pretty
helps
deep
that out.
penetration.
Yeah, it
So we
is.
do a 10-minute toast in our char for the bourbon you just tried, and these last three that we're going to try is a medium char. So a light toast of 10 minutes and a 25-second char. So there's you see where all your color comes from. That caramelizes those sugars. It also acts as a filter and gives you color.
Oh, that smells better than the store pick we have.
Once that bourbon
Better than
is
what?
tried,
The
it's
store
ready
pick
in
we
that
have.
barrel as this
Oh
one.
yeah, I don't think there's
It
much
simply
difference
goes
in
to
them,
a
to be
second
honest.
new barrel for up to 1 more year, and this is the inside of the double oaked barrel. Looks totally different, right? So we just toast it longer and char it less. This is a heavy toast, so 40 minutes of warming the wood and only 5 seconds on fire. So a heavy toast and a flash char. So just by altering the barrel finish, it's the only difference between this one we just tried, hold it up, and the double oaked. You see the color difference? Double oak's a lot darker. Same amount of bourbon in both barrels, or both bottles. So it's just a barrel change, that darker color. Now pick it up and nose it. You're like me, you'll hear the angels singing when you smell this one.
Best one in the lineup. What I assume will be.
Out of two.
No, I'm assuming moving forward, this will still be the best.
Doesn't it smell like you could just pour it on your pancakes, I think, right? Yeah. Just skip breakfast. So swirl it around in the
Butterscotch
glass.
is really
It has
in there.
more legs
Yeah.
as well, so
Might be a
it's
little
thicker. And we've done nothing but change the barrel prep, the barrel finish for 1 year. So go ahead and take a sip. You'll feel that thickness on your tongue. It's a lot sweeter and smoother. So it really helps you appreciate barrels and how powerful they are in the whole process. Don't tell me if you
cinnamon,
don't like that one. It'll
nutmeg.
hurt my feelings.
I got a lot
All
of
right,
vanilla.
now we're going to pair this one with the butterscotch chips. So this pairing
Right
really
on there.
just brings out those flavors that are already present. The buttery, caramely, mapley notes. So butterscotch chips, I never realized till I did the food pairing. You know, there's a recipe on the butterscotch chip package called an oatmeal scotchy. I don't know if y'all have had those. I used to make those years ago in high school for basics. I hadn't had them, so I made them again, and now instead of dipping that cookie in milk, I just did it in dumb But yeah, you know, I think sometimes when you have the butterscotch chips with this one, the sweetness kind of goes away, but then it comes back on the finish. And every now and then people tell me they think double oaks gets a little spicier with the butterscotch chips.
Not
I
ahead
don't
of
get
everyone
that.
else.
A lot of people
Are you
do.
gonna see if it changes the nose?
So what do you think of that pairing?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, now that goes out all over the world, so you can find double oaked wherever you live. We also have it in the gift shop. It is the priciest on our flight, which is why it gets its own bottle, but still for $64. I mean,
It kind of covers the sweetness. I get more spice now.
So, all right.
Yep, same thing with Megan. She got more spice too.
Any questions? Okay.
So I do have a quick one. So because this gets the extra year, does it just age like for 6 then? You said an average of 7 years. Does this one just age for 6 in the normal barrel and then go that extra year gets it to 7, or is this an 8 year?
No, this would be an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank
So
you.
it's up to 1 year. So
Gotcha.
sometimes
So depends on how
where
it comes
they
out.
are, it could be 9 months in that
Right.
second barrel.
Right.
But yeah, we have a whole 66,000 barrel warehouse on top of the hill just for double oak barrels.
Okay.
Wow.
And we only use them once, which is amazing to me for a year. All right, we're gonna go. Yeah.
Why not triple?
Why not triple oak?
Too much.
Ask Angel's Envy.
So I'm sure they have tried that, or they may be trying to get along those
I don't know if I got
artistic
smoky, but
barrels.
well, it could just be
We
the
do
oak that
have a
will
little
cause that.
more
But it could
extended
be.
version of this
You got a good
one
nose.
called a double oak. So it comes out in January and we sell out in about 11 hours. So it's sold
Full
as one
barrels.
of our distillery series, which are only here at the distillery. It's in a 375 bottle, but it's just this left an extra year in the second barrel. Now they do pours of it at the bar if you want to try it. They do flights of different years of the double, but we've just not done one called triple yet, or quadruple or whatever. But there is one
Oh,
called
so it's
double.
only
It's a
3.
little longer.
Triple.
It's a little smokier.
No,
spicier.
double would be 4. If you double your double.
All right,
I didn't
we're
come
moving
from
on to
math
300
class,
shots
Josh.
of whiskey. So next we're going to do the newest, the baby of the Woodford Reserve family, wheat whiskey. This is the only 4-grain recipe that we make.
Ooh, got a
Now
lot
this
more
one
barley in it.
obviously has to have
And
wheat
it's
in
20%
it, which
malted
nothing else
barley.
does. Has to have at least 51% wheat. Now I like wheat beer, and I always think wheat beers are more fruity. So if you pick this one up and nose it, you should smell a little more of those fruit notes on the nose. I know your little card there says apple and cinnamon. I do not get that at all. You may. I hear people say pear a
I
lot.
got green apple maybe.
Lady yesterday said apricot. I'm like, I don't even know what an apricot smells like. Maybe it does. I smell sherry. That's what I smell. So give it a sip and see what you think. This has only been out since 2019. Totally different than the double oak. I know it's hard to go from double oak to these others, but a lot of wine drinkers express that they like this one. It's a little too dry for me. I don't really care for the dryness on the tongue.
Very dry.
But definitely
Yeah,
more
super
fruity.
dry.
Malted barley. It's coming
Yeah.
through.
52% wheat, 20% corn, 20% barley, 8% rye. So not a lot of spice in this one. It does have a little bit of
It's
on the
got some
finish.
spice in it. A little bit.
I
I don't
actually,
taste the
this is my
barley
least
so much.
favorite.
It's just that drying.
Geez, I
I
feel
would
it.
turn it
Yeah,
down. Somebody
feel it
pour
right
it
here.
for me.
But that's the dryness.
I do actually like
Yeah.
this with the food pairing. I like it better with that little apple crisp that you have. That dried cinnamon apple. So try that and see what you think. I feel like it gets spicier, but it's more like to me, more like
can
a
have this
hot
too if you
toddy
want.
spice. More like a fall flavor to it. This is hard to find outside Kentucky. Unless you're in a state close, you probably could get it. How's anybody feel about the wheat whiskey? You like it? Okay. It's just me. I just don't. You know.
I like it, but I like wheaters in general. So
Do you?
yeah.
Now that is the only thing so far that we've ever released as far as the permanent products with wheat.
Mhm.
But I believe there's some over there,
Mhm.
bourbon maybe coming in the future. Anybody like it better with the apple? Or better before the apple?
Before.
Okay. All right.
Confuses it a bit for me.
Yeah.
Next, we're gonna move to the spiciest on our flight. Woodford Reserve rye
All right.
whiskey.
Here's
Ooh.
where we
Now, if you're
live.
thinking
Oh, yeah.
rye, you're like, I don't even want to try this one. Don't be afraid. But this is really an old time rye, so it's not what you're getting most often on the store shelves these days.
33%
Most
corn.
ryes out there nowadays, even though you have to have 51% minimum to call it rye, most of them are using 70 to 100%. My son's favorite rye is 95% rye. And it literally melts your internal organs when you drink it. I think it's terrible. He likes it. So if you nose this one, I think you might be surprised by how light it is on the nose. It's not real punchy like licorice or pepper on the nose. It's more
I got more
maybe
pepper
like
on the nose than this
There's
one.
pepper.
grassy
There's
or
pepper.
herbal. It's got a little sweetness and mintiness to it. And the flavor's going to be really mild as well. It is spicier than the rest we've tried. Surprisingly sippable and smooth for rye whiskey. So 53%. This is a historically correct rye recipe. This is how they used to make them in the old days. So it's called pre-prohibition
ginger?
style rye.
That ginger, I don't
53%
know.
rye, 33 corn, which is a lot of sweetness, 14% barley.
Not my favorite rye. It's not bad. It's better than
Now
what
we're
we
going to
have.
pair that with the sesame sticks.
At least the bottle we have.
And you probably know
Sesame
sesame is
sticks.
already a spice. So this is a spiceless spice pair. Although there is sesame oil in these, and that's going to smooth out the finish a little bit, I feel like you're going to get a little more spice on that second sip. To me, it comes up the back, like almost.
Did you even try one of them?
Those
You did?
sesame
You got
sticks
4?
are good too. I can eat a whole bag.
Huh?
Teacher's
Oh.
pet.
Now, on your little card packs that you have there, those are to take home. You don't use them during the tasting, obviously. There's a card in there for each of these whiskeys with a cocktail recipe on the back. And it also mentions some other foods that pair well with that whiskey. And I think on the rye card it says to pair this with a green cracker or also honey. So I haven't tried those yet, but yeah.
It's not a bad rye.
So to get
It's not my
spicy
favorite
for the
thing,
rye,
though.
on the
Low-
second
low-
sip,
I
or
like
is that
more
what you
rye.
mean?
I want more rye.
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
higher
for
proof.
higher. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're a little biased.
Now that has been out since
Kinda glad I didn't
2015,
buy that
and that also goes out all over the
Yeah.
world. So
I
you
mean,
can find
they're
that
inexpensive. They're like
pretty much
$32, $35, so it's not.
So we're gonna finish up. Go ahead and
I'm
sip
beginning
some
to see 'em in
water.
North
That
Carolina,
sesame's
too.
really
Oh yeah,
overpowering.
they're in North Carolina.
We're gonna finish off with a little sweetness.
Here we go.
You got malted milk
It's only
malt we're gonna pair
51%.
with Woodford Reserve malt whiskey. Now this is not 100% malt barley like a
I'm
Scotch.
afraid.
It's 51%. It's almost bourbon. If you look at your recipe there, look how much corn we put in this malt whiskey. 47% corn. You gotta have 51 more to be bourbon. Now
It doesn't
malted
quite
barley is your
smell
nutty grain, so
like
go ahead and nose this one.
a
It
heavy
smells
malt,
totally
which it's
different
not.
than anything else we've smelled.
You're sticking your
Very
nose all the way in
nutty.
a glass there.
Earthy. I often hear banana bread on this one. I don't smell that. I smell a little chocolate. A lot of people say
I get the banana bread. I get
Yeah.
the banana.
Give that a
Get the
sip. Now,
banana.
this is
Yeah.
my second favorite after double oaked, but I get mixed reviews on this. Some people don't like it at all. 2% rye, so you're really not getting any spice on this one. And this has only been out since 2018, so also it's hard to find. How's anybody feel about the malt whiskey? Thumbs down? Who's a thumbs down? Okay. Who's a thumbs up? Okay. So maybe you'll like it better.
Not
Or
great.
maybe less with the Whopper.
Not for
You know,
us.
these are actual Whoppers, are bigger than Whoppers, but try that malted milk fall.
Yeah,
This is
let
a lot of
this-
people's favorite
let this
here.
fix
The
it.
center of that malted milk fall, that malty chalky finish, really just prolongs I guess the malty notes of that whiskey. You might get a little more spice. Chocolate in general tends to highlight spice in whiskey. So see what you think. I had a man yesterday say he thought that was the worst food pairing that we did. So you might not like it at all. Again, we all experience it different. Banana bread.
Glad that washed it out for us.
Yeah, I love that whiskey. I love it. And our cocktail bar, I'll tell you a little bit more as we go up on the bus. But we're going to end up in the gift shop and also tell you about some special releases we have in the gift shop. But they make cocktails with all of these. Now, my personal recommendation
I'm just
is
gonna
the
leave
double
mine.
oak old fashioned. So even though that needs nothing, they do add maple syrup and chocolate bitters to it. It's delicious. We have a whole back patio up there with umbrellas. You can sit outside and enjoy a cocktail or flight. And then with the rye whiskey, right now they're making one called the Blackberry Smash with this one, and it's really good as well.
There we go. That's up your alley, honey.
Megan can try
All
that.
right, well, you all, it's time to get back to the bus and go up. I'll be free. I'll be hanging out up there after we get up there and answer any questions. I just want to thank you all from here before we get on the bus for coming out today. Hope you enjoyed the tasting and found something that you like and see how you compare food. can, but you can leave them, we'll throw them away. Don't worry about it. The trash will be all that. All right, I'll call the bus that leads us right out here where we got our off.
Well, overall,
So what do you think?
double oak's still my favorite.
Well,
without
I'm
a
thinking
doubt.
more about the tasting. This is the one I wanted you to
Oh.
come to.
I did like. It was very informative. I think at this point I know how to taste whiskey. So, but if this was my first time tasting whiskeys, this would be like definitely the first stop that I'd want to hit.
Like I said, this is one that I felt like when I did this 10, 12 years ago, I felt like they did the best job on tasting and explaining. It's a little bit different because in that time they had a flavor wheel on the wall, a big blown up one. So it was a little bit different, but still, I think they do a very good job with it.
Yeah, overall, good. For a beginner, with the food pairings that they're doing now would be a great idea.
And while our viewers didn't see the rest of the audience on purpose, you could tell clearly that a lot of the folks who were here were first timers.
Yeah.
And so getting that small sip at first, that was a great thing. We do the same thing when we do tastings, talk to people about it. You got to get past that shock to the system.
Yeah, so it's past that. I'm going to show the room here a little bit.
You can take your water.
We finished the tasting spectacle of this tasting.
Yes.
Pinky's out. That was pretty good. If
Yeah,
you are
it
new
was.
to bourbon, I would absolutely recommend this being your first stop. They had some food pairings, which our tour guide Beth said that no other distilleries were doing. So
Yes.
hopefully this is probably a fantastic place to start out your tour.
And this was the reason that I wanted to come here first for Josh, although he's had more time tasting and working with me and different things over the years to develop his palate a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or to utilize his palate a little bit more. Then, so he's got an opportunity for that. But for me, this was one of the best ones that I came to 10, 12 years ago to see what bourbon was like and what their experience, all the distilleries' experiences of the bourbon are like. So, like I said, I think they did a very good job.
I enjoyed it. Tour guide Beth was fantastic.
Yes, she was.
So, if you watched brewzle's tour of Woodford, she was her tour guide as well.
Is that somebody?
Yeah, he's a big deal. I love his videos.
Yeah, it was great. It was great,
Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah, she actually mentioned him when we asked if it was okay to film.
She didn't know who it was.
She had no idea who he was, which
Right,
is
right.
crazy to us. But obviously, if you're not deep into the scene on YouTube or anything like
True.
that, you're not gonna get people to know who that is.
Yeah,
but
it was true.
we
So-
got to the gift shop, and something we had been wanting to try but not wanting to pay for a whole bottle of because it's a little expensive is Woodford's batch proof, because we love high proof, and we obviously
And it's their double or just
no
the-
this
okay.
is just the
Okay.
batch proof. Yeah, the double oaked was a bit expensive, but if we want to try that, I will pay for that too.
This one was $45. That's enough.
Yeah, so they give us a healthy pour on it though. We'll
Mhm.
get that on camera. And I mean, I'm looking forward to this because we like high proof, and all Woodford stuff was what 90.4 or something like that.
Yeah, 90.4.
Yeah, so this will have a nice clean, hopefully more to because it's batched and it goes into the barrel at 125.
Mhm.
They distill this all the way to 160, which a lot of distilleries don't do. But this would be probably closest to barrel strength as it gets, and this might be barrel strength. We just don't
Might
know.
be.
They say
Well,
batch proof.
And another thing
It kind of
that
means
Beth-
different things.
that Beth told us is that most of the bourbons are in the average of 7 years old.
Yes.
So that's not something that I see published
No.
anywhere by them.
Yeah.
But the double oak is 8 years or closer to 8 years.
Yes.
So it depends
Yeah.
on how long it needs to stay, where it was in the
Mhm.
height of the brick house.
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna give this a go right here on camera for everybody to see. Here, I give the honors to you, sir.
all right. There's a lot of sweetness on it.
Yeah.
More than I expected. Thick.
Yeah. I love that.
Thick.
We love a good
spice.
mouthfeel on it.
Very good spice to it. Not picking up much in the way of sweetness. Definitely the oak is impacting the spice, is drawing it up more.
Mm-hmm. And you really like spice?
I do. This is
Do you
actually
like
very
this?
good. This is very
This
good.
is, you want to get a bottle good?
It depends on how much the bottle is.
True. Okay.
So-
MSRP-ish, you'd buy a bottle?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
swap places here.
Okay.
Okay.
Besides that, I'm driving.
Oh wow, super sweet.
Yeah,
Like crazy sweet on
way
there.
more than you don't get the oak on the nose.
Almost not at all. Yeah. I mean, this is like caramel vanilla, almost exclusively on the nose.
Now it finishes with oak.
Heavy oak impact.
Mm-hmm.
There's some
It
nice
comes through even
spice.
more at the end.
Yeah,
The finish.
really heavy on the finish and on the mid palate.
So you're getting that thick mouthfeel.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's on the front of the palate too.
Mhm.
There's some oak dryness that goes through there. There's an underlying level of sweetness that sticks through it. More of a grainy sweetness, and I think the oak is kind of just overpowering what other flavor might be in there if this was a lower proof. But you're right, this is good. It's not super spicy. It's
Right at the front, I got a lot of
yes.
spice.
There's some pepper, like
Yes.
cinnamon mixture
Mhm.
in there. It's not like super heavy or anything like that. This is very good, actually. I think it's 121.5 proof on the batch proofs. Fairly certain that's the average. I don't know if they water it down to that point
Mhm.
or if it's different for each batch. I don't know, but
She did talk about 100-barrel batches,
100-barrel batches. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm sure,
whether it's on
It's-
this one or not. But
yeah, it'll somewhere in that range probably. It averages out to it. But you know, going into this tour, Woodford, the few experiences I had with it, I did not enjoy it. But the base Woodford that we had while we were down there was much better than any Woodford pour I've had at any other bar. And the base double oak that we had is better than our store pick that you picked
Yes.
up in Peavine.
yes,
And I think that overall this is good.
one thing Beth told us too, when they do store picks, they don't give them much of a choice of barrels.
Yeah, they have a very small. She said two barrels.
2-barrel. I think what they do is they join 2 barrels together to do the pick. I think
Okay.
you may get to choose from more barrels,
Okay,
but
you pick your top two.
right.
They blend those.
Sounded like that was the
Okay.
case. Yes.
But hey, batch proof. If it's in your market, guys, I'd buy it.
There you go.
I would buy it.
Yeah, I would buy the batch proof, depending on price. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I got a better feel for them after being here. And in case anybody's wondering, Josh is going to finish because I'm driving, so we're being responsible.
Yes, of course. Drink responsibly, but
And if you come to Woodford, just be prepared. You're going to be on some back roads. And actually, I would tell you,
Yes.
take all the back roads you can.
it's
because
such a beautiful
absolutely
drive.
beautiful country.
Yes,
Of course, I'm prejudiced. I'm from Kentucky.
you're from it, and I spent a lot of time here as a kid. And I described this to you yesterday as we were driving through. As I get this little bit of a joyful feeling overcomes me when I know when we're in Kentucky, I can see the rolling hills and everything like that. And it brings back good memories, and that probably has something to do with it. But I really enjoyed spending time in Kentucky, and even more time spending it at Kentucky distilleries.
There you go.
So,
Absolutely.
so guys, this is Woodford. We're gonna hit Castle and Keys tour. We'll see how much we can film on that. Probably not too much, but there is a tasting at the end, and hopefully we can film that.
Is
And
he
we're
trying
gonna
to cut
do-
me out of the shot? Are you trying to cut?
I'm-
Are you trying?
I'm working on
Are you trying to?
You're moving out
Gosh.
of it.
Jeez.
So we're gonna hit Castle and Key, we're gonna hit Wild Turkey, we're gonna hit Four Roses, and a couple of liquor stores here and there as we go. So plenty of content coming today. Hope you guys enjoy it so
And
far.
hopefully we have enough batteries.
We do have enough batteries. We got 4, so we should be solid.